Hey, what's up guys, the Strong Boys 19 here. It is time for a quick 2015 review, and for this one it is going to be on the brand new studio album from British guitarist and singer-songwriter David Gilmour, entitled Rattle That Lock. The follow-up is On an Island, which dropped in 2006, nearly 10 years ago. One of the most praised and heavily influential guitarist of all time, and millions of us know him for being the guitarist and songwriter in one of the top best-selling rock bands of all time, Pink Floyd. Gilmour doesn't need an introduction by many of us because he has gained so much success at what he did with Pink Floyd, and I have total respect for him for being a solo singer-songwriter as well. So, after the release of Pink Floyd's final album, The Endless River, Pink Floyd disbanded earlier this year. David Gilmour did not stop there. So, I really did not expect another solo album from David Gilmour, but this is his new album that he just came up with, so he is back after almost 10 years from his previous album, On an Island. So Columbia Records is the record label, and it has 10 tracks, 50 plus minutes in length. So the album, from what I think, I really enjoyed it. I think it's one of the best releases of 2015, actually. So the music on this album is very much at a different direction than what Gilmour took from On an Island. The music on that album is mainly a lot of sweet ambience and bright keyboards and acoustic guitars, but the music on most of the tracks on this album is more of like a proper full band type sound. And there's tons of different musicians that have been taking part to do some of Gilmour's originality for this album, including David Crosby from Crosby, Stills and Nash. And also Polly Samson, Gilmour's wife, had been involved for the vocals as well, and other different musicians and backing vocals all took place for these songs on here as well. So the way that I would describe this album musically by most tracks is quite a similarity to The Division Bell, which I think is a very good, strong, near perfect album, and it's one of my most favourite Pink Floyd albums, and I think it is their last really strong album. That's just what I think. So somehow when I listened to some of the tracks on here, it reminded me of that album, surprisingly enough. There's a lot of ambience on this album, and some not heavily experimental sound, but there's still the progressive rock signature sound that Gilmour still continues from his music. And despite him being the guitarist and vocalist on this album, he did other instruments on this album, including some of the keyboards, electric piano and harmonica. I mean, he did quite a lot of different instruments for these tracks, and the production of this album is pretty great as well. Some beautifully toned piano and some top-notch clean acoustic guitars, some distorted electric guitars, and the bass from the mixing is also quite good. The vocals from David Gilmour are great as well. However, he strains a little bit when he tries to sing high, but as a vocalist, I mean, he's not really one of the greatest singers ever. I think he's very confident enough to be a vocalist, and he does try to bring some emotion to these tracks, and the songs themselves, from the way that they deliver, run quite smoothly as well. Some of the choruses are quite powerful as well, and there are some soft pieces of instrumentation that is so so sweet and quite a dreamy sound. Some of the lyrics on this album are pretty good. However, there had been a few that are, to me at least, just a little bit weak in terms of trying to bring atmosphere and power. It's one of these things that David Gilmour really did try a lot to make the songs as strong like what he did when he was in Pink Floyd, but at least he can still pull a lot of things off. His guitar playing is still very, very good as well. Some pretty simplistic vibrato and usage of the whammy bar, and some just typical signature solo playing from Gilmour as a whole. So I don't know about you guys, but I think this is a very good sounding album. So let me know what you guys think of Rattle That Lock in the comments below. You know, that's just pretty much all I've got to say about David Gilmour's new solo album. So it does have some strong material, some confident vocals, and the album as a whole, I think, is quite a stronger follow-up than On an Island. I mean, that's just my opinion. So in terms for an album rating, I am going to give Rattle That Lock by David Gilmour an 8 out of 10. So if you are a big fan of Pink Floyd, I would recommend Rattle That Lock. Thank you guys for watching, and I will keep you guys posted for more reviews and other videos in the near future.